Nick, take us through it. Your post-All-Star break tiers.
Spoiler alert, they are not at the very top of the tiers. But let's first show the teams at the very bottom of the tiers. They don't even get a name on the tiers. Those who must not be named. By the way, can we just recognize what a bummer it is after last year or the hype coming into this year that the Blazers, the Knicks, the Hornets, and the Pelicans are down on these tiers? And can we also recognize that the single worst sports take of 2022, bar none, was Wild's Orlando Magic take? Like, bar none. We've got 8 months left in the year, 10 months, it doesn't matter. Nothing will trump Wild's Magic take. Okay, now survive the play-in.
Way to go, Wilds.
These teams just really want to make the actual playoffs. Like, the Hawks are they're like, can we make the play-in first? You're going to make the play-in. But it would be gravely disappointing for any of these teams if they don't make the actual 8-team playoff. Much like for these teams, it would be gravely disappointing if they don't get out of round one. This just went around tier. These are teams that nobody actually thinks can win the title. Sorry, Bulls. Nobody actually thinks you can win the title.
Jazz?
But one and done would be devastating. One and done would be, I don't think Quinn Snyder survives one and done. For the Bulls and Cavs, it wouldn't be devastating, but it'd be disappointing. And for all the Nikola Jokic calculator pounder guys, they would really have a problem. Well, there's a lot of best players ever who go one and done, repeat. Okay, move on. LA looming. Here's the thing. Don't pretend like anybody in the West would be thrilled if their round one opponent is the Lakers with LeBron and AD or the Clippers if Kawhi comes back. We don't know what's going on with Paul George. Like there's a world where these teams don't even make the playoffs. There's also a world where they are incredibly dangerous. And by the way, if Kawhi and Paul George are to come back, if the Lakers are to be healthy going into the playoffs, it only gives more momentum to my idea that you should be allowed to draft your round one opponent. It should be part of getting the number one overall seed. You get to pick who you play in round one, so you can say, Rudy Gobert, come on down. We want nothing to do with LeBron and AD. Neither here nor there. Discuss it later. Puncher's chance. There are 3 people and 1 aura that should frighten anybody that's to play these teams. The people are Kevin Durant, Ja Morant, and Luka Doncic. And the aura is Heat culture, just marinating down from the rafters in Pat Riley's box. Because of those 3 people and Heat culture, you can't say these teams can't make the finals. They absolutely can. Durant, Ja, and Luka are good enough, and the Heat vibe is enough where they at least have a puncher's chance. But I don't think they'll make the finals, because one of these teams will, or 2 of these next 4, I should say. Championship or bust. It's not that the window would close on either of these teams. I'm obviously not saying that. But they are full-fledged all in for the title. What a title would mean for the Sixers is Daryl Morey, total vindication. James Harden, total vindication. And Brew, let this one marinate. With a title, is Joel Embiid the 4th best international player ever? Hakeem, Dirk, Giannis, Embiid? Maybe. What a title would mean for the Warriors is not only do they get their 4th rings, but I think Draymond and Iggy become Hall of Fame locks. Let that one marinate as well. Number 1 contenders, Phoenix Suns. Phoenix Suns, I actually don't think the Chris Paul injury is necessarily bad for him. I think Chris Paul being out, and it's not a soft tissue injury, it just lowers the chances that he will suffer a soft tissue injury right before the postseason. I think he'll be fine. I think they have enough of a cushion on Golden State. They'll still be the 1 seed. So I think they'll be fine. So why aren't they the favorites? Because, Brew, what reason do I have to believe that Giannis wouldn't do to them in the finals what he did to them in the finals last year? So the favorites are obviously Milwaukee. Drew Holiday's having an underrated, awesome season. I think Chris Middleton will get back on track post-All-Star. And Giannis is sleepwalking to 30, 11, and 6. That's what he's averaging this year. Nearly 30, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists, and it feels like he's in cruise control. So I think they're still the favorites. They have the best player in the league. There's the NBA tiers. I know you're upset you're not on the committee, but you must admit these are perfect tiers.
Nick, I'm disappointed to see that the NBA committee is pretty similar to the NFL committee. It's got a lot to be left to be desired. All right. But anyway, one thing I don't like, first and foremost, I don't like the way you're slighting the great LeBron James. Shame on you. How in the world do the Lakers not have the puncher's chance with LeBron James on the roster and Anthony Davis coming back? So they should be up. You're slighting LeBron. You got to stop this, Nick. All right, put him on the puncher's chance line. All right, no, I'm getting tired of it. And now, here's my main beef. I would switch Phoenix and Milwaukee. And wow. I agree with you on Chris Paul. Because Chris had an injury to his left hand that a few years ago, 2017, I believe it was, where he was supposed to be out 6 to 8 weeks. He came back in 5.5 and played fine once he got back. I think that'll be similar. He'll get back before the playoffs start. Like you said, Nick, he can rest up whatever's ailing him in his body, whatever aches and pains. He gets rid of those. And it allows Cam Payne and Elfrid Payton time to, get themselves playing better basketball for that backup point guard role in the playoffs. So I would switch them and the Milwaukee Bucks. And I get it. People are saying, yeah, the Bucks, they're coasting. It's what champions do. But I'm not sure they're coasting because look at this graphic. I got two graphics for you. Number one is this one. Their record these are the records against current playoff teams. Top 6 in each conference. Obviously, Phoenix number 1. Look at the Bucks. They got a losing record against the best teams in the league. Not good. And then here's my second graph, because they're saying, they're just doing what all the champions do, taking their time. Not really. When you look at all the repeat champions, and that's what the Bucks are trying to do, over the last 25 years, none of them have won as lower percentage of their games as the Bucks have. The Bucks have only won 60% of their games. Usually teams come out and they play well after winning a championship. And the Bucks aren't doing that. And here's another thing, Nick, about these teams. Look at all of them. Uber talented. Let's go. Golden State, Curry, Durant, Clay. The Heat, Wade, LeBron, Bosh. The Lakers, Kobe and Powell, or Kobe and Shaq. And then the Bulls, Jordan and Pippen and Rodman. So the Bucks they're a really good team. I think they're the favorite in the East, but they're not like uber talented where it's like, oh my God, you can't even compete with these guys like those other repeat champions. So I would put Phoenix. I think they're hungrier. I think they're hungrier than Milwaukee is.
Let me just very quickly, your first point, totally right. I don't know why I keep doubting LeBron. Move him up. You know what? Broussard, you're on the committee now. You made a great point. Move them up. Move the Lakers up. I mean, you know what? Maybe championship or bust. And now, I understand everything you're saying about Phoenix. I just feel in my mind's eye, Wilds, if they play again, Giannis averages 40 again. Like, it's too vivid of a memory with what he did to them over those final 4 games of the series. And really remember, he was awesome in game 2. The only game he wasn't awesome was game 1 when it looked like he had just broken his knee a few days prior. I just don't think they have any type of answer for him. And I think DeAndre Ayton wants nothing to do with Giannis. So it's really a Giannis reasoning. Every point Broussard made is fair. It's just the power of Giannis right now at the peak of his powers.
I agree with that. February 23rd, everybody. We're basically 7 weeks into your New Year's resolution. How is it going? Are you jogging? Are you meditating? Are you winning basketball games? And have you turned your whole season around? That's what the Boston Celtics did. Let's look at the Celtics record since New Year's. New Year, new Celtics. They're 18-7. First in defensive rating. First in net rating. All of a sudden, Tatum and Brown, they're like, you know what? Grass isn't always greener. You guys want to break us up? We're not breaking up. We are back together. Nick, this includes a big 48-point win over the Sixers, where they were kind of waiting for Harden. They gave the game away, and the Celtics took it from them in what a statement game. So I need you to have the tears reflect. This is not the 2021 Celtics. This is the 2022 Celtics, who have won 8 of their last 9 games. Let that Pistons game slip away. 8 of their last 9 games. They're hot. They're going to come off after the break. Super hot. Celtics, I'm going to move them up to maybe puncher's chance. Puncher's chance. Maybe.
Oh, wow.
Puncher's chance.
Puncher's chance.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm going to say about
Tatum
the
and Brown, 1-2 punch.
Listen, here's what I'm going to say about the Celtics.
The Celtics.
They are not going to win a ring.
Yeah.
They are one and done.
Oh, jeez.
They'll make the playoffs and lose in round 1. Sorry, they'll make the playoffs and lose in round 1, but don't worry. As it has been in Boston for the last 13 years, there's always next year. Listen, the Boston Celtics don't need to worry about winning championships. It's just staying relevant, staying in the conversation. We don't want to go too fast. We don't want, listen, one title since the fall of the Berlin Wall is plenty for the most decorated franchise in NBA history. So don't worry. There's always the future, Boston. It's always the
new year.
Playing the long game in Boston. Okay, yeah, one and done, buddy. One and done.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.